RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
All right, what's up, guys? Hello, this is Tara Devlin. Thanks for hanging out. Unapologetic liberal talk on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, and humanity. And I see the chat room filling up at youtube.com/C for channel/Tarabuster. I apologize for being tardy. I went to start the show, and first of all, I hope we don't run into any problems, because I usually restart my computer before starting the show, but I just didn't, because I was pressed for time, and then especially because everything was logged out. So I had to log back in, and it's very annoying. Log back into all the programs that make this show run. So I don't know how that happened. I hope we won't find any surprises. All right, guys. Oh, thank you, Richard W. Happy Veterans Day, Richard says. Thank you for your service. Thank you. Thank you for your service. I didn't do anything. When people say thank you for your service, I feel embarrassed, because I wish I had done more, really. I guess I showed up. That's service enough, right? I kind of miss it. I wish I never routed out, or whatever they call it, I went inactive. That's what happened. Whatever. Can't go back. Can't look back in anger. I'm only kidding. That's a song. I'm not looking back in anger. Sometimes I thought, like when things would happen, like Hurricane Sandy and whatnot, I felt, I would feel like, I wish I was still in the National Guard, because then I could be on the front lines helping. All right. Yeah. But it was a great experience. Good and bad, Everything it's a mix. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about others. I learned what I could endure physically. I really did learn that I could endure a lot of pain, physical pain. It's the emotional pain that gets me, really. So, all right, guys. And I also learned that, as you probably know, everything is a mind game. It really is. It's all in the mind. I don't want to quote Henry Ford, because he was pro-Nazi, but I think he said, if you think you can or you can't, if you think you can or you can't, you're right. And that's really true. When I was in the National Guard, we had to finishing basic training with a 15-mile march back to the civilization. We went out into the field for the last it was towards the last couple of weeks before graduation, and I fell in a foxhole in the middle of the night when we were observing light discipline. But someone didn't cover their foxhole. You're supposed to cover those things up when you leave them, and I fell down into this foxhole, and I twisted my ankle really bad. It was swollen up. And people were saying, you can't make the march. You won't be able to do it. And I was like, F this. I'm not staying here another week longer. We'll go lay up in the sick bay, and I'll have to then complete it down with another class or whatever. And I just wrapped my obviously it wasn't broken, because if it was broken, I wouldn't been able to put any weight on it at all, and that would have been a different story. But I put that broken that swelled up ankle, I don't know what I had, it must have tore something, and I put it into my boot, and I wrapped it up and just closed it up really tight, and every step was painful. And I remember thinking, in my mind, one more step, just take one more. And next thing you knew, it was over. I was done. And it was great. It was a great feeling. And I just thought, wow, it's all in the mind. It really is. To a degree, of course. All right. Not that, whatever. I remember that, though. I remember it. How can you forget? And also, look who's here already, right? As soon as I start the show, he knows. I think he's just a camera hog. Where's the goddamn AC? It's hot in here. All right, everybody. This is Unapologetic Liberal Talk. Oh, and yes, and as far as my ankle, that injury it constantly reoccurs now. You know how it is. Once you have an injury, kind of, you have you have a weakness there. So anytime anything happens, if I trip over anything or, even just something stupid, I twist my ankle again. And I am transported back to Fort Jackson in my mind. All right, listen. This is Unapologetic Liberal Talk. Why am I doing? Where is it? I'm trying to change the camera. On the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. And we meet here every Friday evening around this time. And then we try to have a show during the week. If you can become a patron, please do at patreon.com/TaraDevlin. And that'll keep the real liberal media going and growing. Because we don't... This is the liberal media. I know. I know. Okay? I know. But it's what we got. It's what we got. And it's also, we do it anyway. It's not perfect. We got cats running around. We got microphone issues and whatnot. But we do it anyway. And it is a community. The Tarabuster community is dear to me. And I don't know what I'd do without you. That's for sure. But like Richard W., thank you for your super chat. And Jim, thank you for your super chat. Richard W. says, another great show, Tara. Thank you. It wouldn't be great if you weren't here. And Jim, too. Hi, Jim. Hi, right back at you, my friend. So, Poppy's going to be calling in. The great comedian. Remember they used to call female comedians comedian. Do they still do that? That's too old-fashioned. They used to say the comedian, Lucille Ball, things like that. Yeah, it's just so... I thought it would be a good night to have Poppy call in because this is... Hey, I'm not in a bad mood. All right? I usually am. I'm feeling a little better about democracy. You know how stressed out? I don't even know how... as far as... what am I trying to say? I don't have to tell you because you probably felt the same way. I've been effing stressed out for years, really, since Zygote. But I've been, especially since the rapid decline of the American experiment, what the Republicans have been doing to it. It's been very depressing. I guess I've had this knot in my stomach for years, but really since the con man who received fewer votes started squatting in the White House, and the stain that he left is still with us. He is a stain. Talk about a waste of human DNA. Oh, and before I begin, I have to say thank you. 6 years, Jim. 6 years. The show is also available on APS Radio News. So go on over to APS Radio News, another independent station, media outlet that I'm proud to be a part of and is run by a very great person. So if you check out APS Radio News, remember to tell Charlie that Tara sent you. All right, guys? APS Radio News. All right. It is very... I think, has it been 6 years? It feels really my life is flashing before my eyes right now, but it is also flying. Life is flying by. I'm so sick. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of life flying by. Come on, slow down a little, life. I need to savor. I need to smell some friggin' roses or something. But I can't even believe, we've been in the house since the pandemic. That's 3 years already. It's incredible. I can't take it. Anyway, whatever. But it is. It's good that okay. Let me straighten out my thought process. Oh, just in time for the music to start. I can straighten them out right now. I'll be right back. Unapologetic liberal talk. So, yeah, I've been stressed out, but it's been good that we are on the precipice of taking the Senate. Right before I went on air, I was watching MSNBC, and of course they had Steve Kornacki doing it. He drives me insane, but I couldn't watch him throughout the whole thing, I couldn't watch him. It's the whole horse race aspect of it and the number. It drives me. That's why I have a knot in my stomach. But as far as Nevada, first of all, we will win. I'll go out on a limb. We're gonna win Arizona, right? Mark Kelly will win, and in Nevada, right before I went on air, Cortez what is it, Masto? The vote tally, she's only around 700 votes down now, as opposed to thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands. And there are more votes coming in, and Steve Kornacki predicts that if it continues to go the way it's going, with the mail-in ballot favoring Catherine Cortez Masto, she's going to win, because and it is built right into the system, because the way that the Republicans have campaigned on their fake election bullshit, that everything is corrupt and fake, and that's what they're doing. This is why they take absolutely no responsibility. They will not learn from their mistakes. This loss, this trouncing, and it is a trouncing. Oh, let me show you what the cat is, what Tara Jr. is doing right now. He's like holding my hand. I'm just going like this. Watch. Come on, Katie. Hey, no, that's biting. No biting. Just see, you know what it is? I taught him to give his paw, and I shouldn't have done that, because now it's like a proactive giving of the paw, because he wants a treat. He just wants treats. He's like a madman for treats. See, that's why he's looking at my hand. Where's the treat? I gave you the paw. What now? Give me the treat. What's up? This is the deal. There's no treats there, honey. I'm sorry. You can lick my palm all you want. There are no treats there. I should have had. I'm sorry. I didn't ask for the paw. You can only give it when asked, and then that's where the treats come. Okay, whatever. But because Republicans have put the fear of elections, of mail-in ballots in they're dumbasses, and that's why they won't use mail-in voting. They'll show up on the day of the election, and whatever, they think that's more authentic somehow. And the fact is, the Republicans used to voting by mail was a Republican thing. So whatever. That goes to show you how easily manipulated, people are in general, but especially Republicans, because they never learn. All right, I got to put you back. I'm sorry. Sit over there. Just sit there, and then I'll give you treats later. But they never learn. as evidenced, and everything I say, I have to tell you, I hate being right, but everything I say, it comes true. I wish I knew the lottery numbers. I wish I could just say them and it would come true. But because I always say a couple of things. Everything Republicans touch, they destroy. Everything conservatives touch, they destroy. And we get another example. We'll talk about that too. You know, the Elon Musk. It didn't take him long to destroy Twitter, did it? And Republicans, as far as the election and everything else is concerned, is that being a Republican means never having to say sorry, right? Being a member of the party of personal responsibility means never taking responsibility, ever, for anything. So they're looking around. They've been hyping this red wave forever. And the other thing that pisses me off is that, of course, the entire corporate media just went with it, you know, and we've been beaten over the head nonstop for 2 years how Democrats are going to lose and how Democrats are historical headwinds and with an unpopular president. No, fuck you. Here, I want to show you these Republicans. I took a video of them hyping up this red wave.
Are we looking at one of the biggest red waves in American history?
Red wave rising. We could see things happen in America we haven't seen in decades with a historic red wave.
Your predictions of a red wave are accurate.
I think the red wave that's coming is going to be like the elevator doors opening up in The Shining.
You're about to see a red wave that makes...
Oh my God. These men, these Republicans, that's, for those who are listening... That's Joe Rogan right here.
The elevator doors opening up in The Shining.
You're about to...
That's Ben Shapiro.
See a red wave that makes day after tomorrow look like nothing.
Remember that Taya Leone Deep Impact Disaster movie? That's the red wave tsunami that'll come ashore.
Is it going to be a red wave? Is it going to be a red tsunami? I think it's going to be a red hurricane.
What are you feeling today?
I'm feeling red wave.
If there's not a red wave, I'll dance. How about that?
If there's... I hate that Jesse Waters. First of all, his name is Waters. Come on. Waters. What is Waters? It's Waters, right? One of his ancestors thought he was being cute. No, we're not Waters. We're Waters. And they're so hard to take as far, I mean, they're I know I don't sound like a chorus of angels, but listening to them is like listening to a rake slide across a chalkboard. That's what it sounds like to me. And they're all of them, every single one of them. Carrie Lake to perjury trader Green to Lauren Band from the bowling alley Bobert. Oh my God. All of them. She is like hard to endure. And now the last show we had, Lauren Boebert was losing her election by 70 something votes. Now she's up by 1,000 votes. Let's go check that out. Let's see. Congress vote count. Let's see what it is now. And no matter what, it's going to a recount. And I got a fundraising email today about how from Lauren Boebert's competitor, or no, I think it was on, actually, I came across it on Daily Kos, and I gave some money so they can get people back to, I don't know what it's called, curing their ballots, I think. If there are ballots that needs fixing, whatever, they want to make sure that the Democrats get back to the polls to fix their ballots in time for them to be counted. And hopefully we can do that. It's not that... think about it. Wouldn't it be great to get rid of Lauren effing Band from the bowling alley Bobert and send her back to OnlyFans? Yeah, and the thing is, they keep attacking John Fetterman, right? As he's saying that he's got brain damage and whatnot. He had a stroke. He's not the first one. He's not the first member of Congress to have a stroke, and he won't be the last. And there are other Congress people and senators who've had strokes, and they currently are healing from them. Let me see. Let me look that up. Congress members who've had strokes recently. There are some in the Senate now. Senators, yes. Let's see. Chris Van Hollen. Wait. Yes, he's somebody that had a stroke. Oh, there were others. I don't know. I remember I saw some article about it, that there were other senators who've had strokes, and they, they say, yeah, I had a stroke too, and I'm fine. I had a stroke while I was a member of Congress. And why does my camera keep bugging out like that? Let me switch it to this. That's what I'm saying. I should have restarted the computer. There's always a problem. It's always something. Damn it. Anyway, it's still going though, right? We're still going. We're still going and growing and sharing and caring. Oh, and thank you, Robin, for your super chat. Very nice. A very cute emoji. But oh shit. Yeah, Republicans, they never, that's what it is. They never learn. So they're blaming everyone. Of course, it's Trump too, right? They're blaming everybody but themselves. And what are they learning from this? It's the fact that there was no red wave. They're learning that they should suppress the votes of millennials, right? Or Gen Z. This is, where is it? Of course, they don't come back out of a losing election and assess, how do we reach more voters with our message of decency, dignity, democracy, unity, humanity? No. How are we going to present our policies to the voters and convince them that we also want an economically vibrant and upwardly mobile working class majority, and we just have different ways how to get there? We just want to get there in a conservative fashion. That's not what they're doing. Does anybody know any of their policies? They still don't. They still have none. All they talk about is, we want to live in an America where there's low gas prices and everyone has, a pony and shit like that. But they never explain what they're going to do. They have no policies. Their policies are trigger the libs, right? And I guess please their donors. That's really what it's about. Yeah, look at this. I'm sure you've probably seen this. Or there are other articles. Where is it? Republicans want to raise the voting age after Gen Z midterm turnout. This is from the Daily Beast, but there were other articles written by Kelly Whale. Gen Z headed to the polls this week. Conservative commentators had a message for young voters. Please stop. Yeah, they started this shit on election night, saying that, this is proof that, young people shouldn't be able to vote. Because if demographics say anything, it's that the Republican Party is literally a dying breed. And that's a good thing. And this is the most progressive generation. Gen Z is the most progressive generation, and they are engaged. They're involved. They're active. They understand, you know what, and they should be, because we're leaving Gen Z a world of shit. And this is a generation that's grown up with live shooter drills, the abomination of live shooter drills. And what do Republicans offer? Do they have anything to offer them except more death, more guns, more a warming planet, more doing nothing? Right? So, and speaking of, more guns, the other thing that really was upsetting and kind of hard to believe is how Uvalde, the city of Uvalde in Texas, went for Greg Abbott at by 60%. Now, that, in my opinion, is monstrous. That's an abomination. Right? The guy who lied to their faces, and he gave a press conference right before all the before the videos came out of the cops standing around doing nothing while toddlers were torn to pieces by assault weapons. And Greg Abbott, this is what Republicans do, they knee-jerk kiss the ass of the cops because they need the police. You see, they hate the police. They hate, they really don't care about your life. They don't care about crime. They want you to be a victim of crime, so you get triggered. They do nothing about it practically. All they do is increase, more cops. But that's because the fact is the more militarized police. They hate cops. Because they hate the cop, themselves. If they're on the right side of decency, dignity, and democracy, as we saw on January 6th, what they really support is the police state. So they hate the police, just like they hate the soldier. The thing that makes me sick, they're always like, support the troops. They never support the troops. Look at today on Veterans Day. You remember, of course, all the Republicans tweet out their love of the troops, but they never stand for the troops. All I remember is Ted Cruz fist bumping his fellow Republicans when they stood in the way of veterans' health, the bill that addressed veterans who were affected by toxic exposure to burn pits. And they're fucking high-fiving each other over it. That's how but they love the troops, you see. But it's really not about the troops. They love the troops because they make such stirring photo op backdrops. Same thing with the cops. They could give a shit. It's sort of like, they know what they're doing. It's a manipulation. It's like when Scott Walker went after the unions in Wisconsin, he carved out, he didn't touch the police union. In my opinion, I was always like, how? And of course the cops, they fell for it. But it's really disgraceful that they didn't stand with their fellow unions, and to see that for what it was, they're a cynical ploy to, have the cops on their side. But because they need the cops to suppress any kind of unrest that comes from the Republican assault on the working class. That's what it's about. It's about keeping everybody in their place, keeping down any chance of of people rising up in some form and saying, they're not going to take it anymore. So, but the fact that 60% of the Uvalde residents voted for Greg Abbott made me effing sick. And this is why, I can't even imagine if I were a parent whose child was massacred at Uvalde, or pick any number of massacres that they keep on happening. You have a lot to choose from. Hold on. It's horrible. Hold on. And I can't even imagine, you have a child, the child is murdered in school, and Greg Abbott does nothing but lie to your face and do nothing to ensure that it will never happen again. And that's what Republicans do. How did they respond to this, to yet more children dying in school for no fucking reason? They responded with the same old platitudes, the thoughts and prayers, of course, but the fake, the show, the fake solutions. Like, we need locked doors and more guns in school, when we know we've had numerous massacres, or so they've been studied, and the fact that the amount of armed guards in schools increase, so do the massacres in school. So they rise simultaneously. So more guns in schools are not the answer, and they know that. But the fact that Greg Abbott lied to these parents' faces, and then the community, Uvalde strong, huh? The community did. It really is a slap in the face to every parent that lost a child. So you wake up and you don't have your child anymore, and then your community is like, oh, well, sucks to be you. And they vote them back in. They vote the problems back in. The liars, the deflectors, the people who do absolutely nothing to change the community for the better. Isn't that incredible? But the other thing I have to say is this Beto O'Rourke, thinking about him, we're thinking about Greg Abbott, it's like, enough with him, right? How many elections is he going to lose? Why is he even a thing? I don't know. I never got it, but whatever. This is like the third election he's lost. Different positions he keeps going for, but yeah, they had thrown their support behind Democrat Beto O'Rourke after having been angered by Greg Abbott's resistance to take action. Let's see. 19 children dead. O'Rourke called for raising the minimum age to legally purchase firearms to 21 and banning assault weapons, winning the support of at least 35 family members of the children killed by a gunman who legally bought an assault-style rifle after turning 18. Abbott has done nothing to stop the next shooting, said Ana Rodriguez, whose 10-year-old daughter was killed in the shooting, said in a campaign video for Rourke. He has passed no laws, nothing to keep our kids safe in school. So I'm voting for Beto. Ultimately, Abbott handily won re-election. And that in itself says, oh, well. Oh, you lost your kid? Oh, fucking well. So, I don't know. I don't know how people bear it. How do you continue to live in a community that has such disdain for humanity? All right? They are so indifferent to your sorrows, your needless sorrows. They are so indifferent to this senseless loss of a child, of your child, that they will turn around and reward the same old politicians who lied to your face and did fucking nothing to ensure that another parent has to go through this. I don't know. It's vile. It's really disgusting. You know? That's right. What's disgusting, Robin on the chat says, what's disgusting is that the court said the cops don't have to rescue or save anybody. So what are they there for? They're there to ensure that democracy, true democracy, true upwardly mobile and economically vibrant working class majority doesn't break out somehow. That's what they're there for. It's like everything. It's like, for example, Occupy Wall Street. As we know what happened to Occupy Wall Street. They, in the middle of the night, Bloomberg, when he was the mayor, sent the cops in to bust up some skulls while they were at it. They did that because Occupy Wall Street was actually a threat to the establishment. And what did they do? But then you look at, let's say, the Tea Party. We remember when Obama was elected and the right-wingers, that's when this fake-ass Heritage Foundation, Koch brother funded Tea Party came to fruition, when they under this bullshit acronym, what do you call it? Taxed enough already? It was all bullshit. Taxed enough already. Fuck you. They were talking about taxing the rich, but we know. I mean, they're so full of shit, and they're dumb. And it was completely funded and astroturfed by the Koch brothers, who had the buses all painted up, taxed enough already, and they bust them down to D.C. to have a tantrum in front of the White House, and they were carrying assault weapons and whatnot. But you don't see cops running in and breaking it up. Same thing on January 6th. Assault weapons, and they never they don't go after right wingers and bust it up, because it is not actually a threat. As far as a threat to the status quo, the threat comes from the left. Then you'll get a true response, and I'm saying a threat to the establishment, a threat to the big moneyed interests. That's the threat. Whereas these damn Republicans, they're the useless idiots in this game, and the Republicans know it. And this is why I always say that the Republicans and their big moneyed masters, they laugh at these suckers. And in fact they hate them. I don't hate them. I want them to have health care. But these people, they laugh at their constituents, that's for sure. You think they respect them? Could you ever imagine Donald Trump hanging out with these fucking people? You notice they're not at Mara Moron. He doesn't have a special Trumpanzee rate for Mara Moron. That's for sure. He's not rubbing elbows with these people. He's not allowing them on his golf course. Right? Oh, yeah, I love the people so much that I'm opening up this golf course for everybody. Everyone can come. And, because we're all, I'm here for the people. I'm fighting for the people. It's like, like Warm Springs. We were talking about on the last show. FDR bought Warm Springs and opened it up for other sufferers of polio, free of charge, of course. But you can't imagine Donald Trump doing anything like that. Like he goes from the Trumpanzee rally where he's using these his moron. I mean, really, they are hosts from which to suck narcissistic supply as well as money. Give me more money. That's all it is. It's a gaping black hole of need. And it doesn't go, there's no policy involved in that. It's like whatever makes the giant pustule feel like, less of a fraud for a second. Because it really comes down to that. He knows he's a fraud. He's a sociopath. This is the whole thing. But we always talk about, I don't hate these Republicans. I really don't. I say I hate them. The fact is, I'm not trying to, own them. I don't want to own them. I don't want to hang out with them. I want them to get health care. I want them to just shut their mouths maybe and have a decent middle-class life. Just leave me the hell alone. Leave us all alone. Let us live and let live. You don't like that people form legal marriage contracts with other people of the same peepee? Well, move along. Move along, sucker. Move along, patriot. Right? Live and let live. I don't know. I'm not trying to force gay marriages on them, but they're trying to force themselves. Right? It's always them. They're always shoving down our throats. God, somebody call Dr. Freud, because it's them. They're the ones shoving everything down our throats. I'm not trying to make them have a gay marriage. I'm just trying to tell them to shut up and leave people alone. No one's trying to make them trans or go into a bathroom they don't feel comfortable in. But that's what they're trying to do to us. Trying to make us, conform to their shitty, myopic, tiny worldview. Carrie Lake is psychic? Richard on the chat said? Or do you mean psycho? And she's going to lose too. Yes, she is. I will put myself out on a limb. Oh, and here, speaking of people who grate on me, here's, and in keeping with the theme that Republicans take absolutely no responsibility.
Was in a nail biter in Arizona.
Here's, here's Jesse Waters, like we were saying, Waters. I guess, Monday morning quarterbacking the election, but he's also throwing doubt. This is what they're doing. He's in this segment. He says that Carrie Lake is going to pull out a win in her governor's race, and it's not looking good. So, but what they're doing is sowing doubt. He knows that. He works for a fake news organization.
There in Arizona. There was some shenanigans in Maricopa County, or incompetence, we don't even know.
Yes,
20%
shenanigans.
of voting stations in that county had machines that ran out of ink. Katie Hobbs is the Secretary of State in Arizona. She's in charge of elections. And there was an ink shortage in Maricopa County.
An ink shortage? Where are they voting? Are they printing out? I don't know where you vote or how you vote, but here in New York, you don't need to. There's no ink. What are you talking about? Ink. You get a ballot. You got a pen. You friggin' fill it out, and it goes in the machine. But anyway, this is what I'm talking about. They don't need to get into specifics here and tell us, what are you talking about? and say they ran out of ink. Ink for what? What are you inking? Yeah, they're not printing anything, are they? How is inking interfering with voting? Not having ink. I don't know. It doesn't mean anything though. They're just sowing doubt. And the fact is, they hate democracy. This is what it's about. They've always hated it. I've said this for years, right? Republicans hate democracy. Please prove me wrong. I want to be proven wrong. On that account, of course. But I want to be proven wrong in general. I want them not to be what they are. The domestic enemies from within who hate democracy. They just do. They just damn do. Right, exactly. Haiku on the chat. They had no wells for their quills. Right. Is that how they fill out their ballots? They needed to dip their quills in an inkwell? Because it really is like the 18th century back there, I guess. Literally, figuratively. It's unreal. Wait, am I logged in? Hold on. Okay. I was just making sure I was logged into the phone system. But, yeah, so that's what I mean. He's just saying they ran out of ink and, okay, what? That means you're incompetent. Okay, whatever. If you insist, Waters. But why do you need ink? What are you doing? Are you writing Carrie Lake's name on a piece of paper and putting it in a box? That's not how it's done. It's either incompetent, and I love this, how they're saying that, how Carrie Lake's opponent is the Secretary of State, how she's running the elections. And that's what do you think has happened in Georgia? They have selective faux rage. This is the thing with them. You can guarantee their faux rage is only activated when whoever they're faux raged about has a D after their name, right? It's only activated when there are Democrats involved. Every other thing, every dirty trick in the book they can pull. They said nothing about not Greg Abbott, who's Stacey Abrams, that race in Georgia. The guy who's the governor now. Yeah, I can't remember his name. All these names. Georgia governor is... Yes, Brian Kemp. Him. Ugh. He's the Secretary of State. He was running... Oh, shit. He's running the election. So, okay, they said nothing about that. That's okay. That's A-okay. Okay. Well, let's continue with Waters.
The county that decides the race. And they were short ink the day most Republicans vote. Election.
Ink! What ink did what? Where's the ink going? That's what I mean. It doesn't make any sense.
Day. Where'd you hide the ink, Katie? I'm just kidding. I'm sure it was an honest mistake.
But what did you need ink for? Some people have... Oh, okay. So, Play Dave says some places have receipts after you vote. Okay. Is that what the ink's for?
Now, Lake's down just 4,000.
It doesn't mean that you're not able to vote, though, is it? Or maybe it does.
Votes. But there's tons more to come in, and it's basically a dead heat. But most people think Lake's going to pull this out.
No, that's not true. You see how he says, just slips that in? That's not true. Most people do not think Lake's going to pull it out. But if you are a Fox News victim, That's what you're hearing. So when Carrie Lake loses, they can beat the, corruption drum. It's rigged. Oh, look at the rigged. And the other thing they keep saying is that how Carrie Lake has a lot of followers on Twitter. She has so many more followers than Katie Hobbs has. So therefore, that means it's fixed. Because it's like Joe Biden couldn't fill up a Trumpanzee Nuremberg rally stadium. So that means he's not, no one voted for him somehow. But they don't seem to understand that Democrats, normal people, do not deify their politicians. We don't need to go and we don't need to go and go to a rally with Joe Biden. I don't know. Or do we? I mean, sometimes we have political events. I've seen Bernie many times, but it's not the same thing. And the thing is, it's as far as Bernie too. They would say, "Oh, the Bernie Bros, the Bernie bots." It's not the same because people who were for Bernie, even though we love Bernie, we weren't. And as we know by how the election turned out in 2016, if Bernie said, now everybody go vote for Hillary Clinton, we know that's not what happened. Not everybody did go and vote Hillary Clinton. So it's not the same because, whatever. And I don't want to relitigate that, but it's because, Bernie would have won, but okay.
Now, the exit polls tell us a lot about what happened last night. Republicans are making major inroads with blacks and Latinos and are doing even better with men, suburban women, and the working class. And that's nothing to sneeze at. So long term, this is fantastic news for the Republican Party.
It is?
But Democrats are dominating the cities.
There's really no good news for the Republican Party. The youth are... old people are dying. That's how it goes. The circle of life. Young people are voting Democratic.
Absolute dominations, 85 to 15 types of spreads. Also, single women are breaking for Democrats by 30 points. And this makes sense when you think about how Democrat policies are designed to keep women single.
Policies. Fuck you.
But once women get married, they vote Republican.
Oh my God. Hold on a second. I'll be right back. All right.
Women, married men, go for Republicans by double digits. But single women and voters under 40 have been captured by Democrats. So we need these ladies to get married. And it's time to fall in love and just settle down. Guys, go put a ring on it.
Oh my God. You see what I'm saying? Guys, go put a ring on it. There could be a plethora of reasons why married women are voting for Republican. I know for one thing, if I could take my sister as an example, it's because when she was married to a right-winger, and my sister didn't pay attention to anything. She didn't pay attention to the news or... you went into her house. There was not a newspaper hanging around. Nothing. She never watched the news. All she heard was the bullshit coming out of her ex, thank goodness, coming out of his mouth. So she voted Republican, which was very irritating to me and every other normal person in my family. But that's probably what if that's the case, I'm sure there were other reasons, but put a ring on it. That's what they're saying, that's what he says. We need to understand why unmarried women may not want to support Republican policies and reach out to them. No, we must absorb them somehow into our cult. And it gets worse. They really are letting it out. It's like they fundamentally loathe democracy. And I hate to do this to you, but here's Nick Fuentes, who is a Nazi.
You got to recognize the fact that this is a godless country. I hate it. It's immoral, it's wrong, it's heinous, it's evil. But this is an evil country. And this country will surprise you with how evil it is. And that's why you got to get this out of your head that there is some silent majority cavalry that's going to come out of the woods and save us at the last minute. It's not. When we meet the left on the battlefield and they outnumber us like 5-1, that's it. People think we're going to start getting cut down, and then at the last minute they're going to blow the Volkish horn.
Volkish.
The silent majority's going to come running in from the flanks.
See, who are these people? Who is this little pipsqueak? The Volkish horn. Is that some kind of Viking thing? Because I know that the right-wingers and the Nazis are really into the, the Viking, all kinds of, Viking imagery and whatnot. So he's gonna blow the Volkish horn, and they are so embarrassing. They're so embarrassingly weak, and people listen to this guy. They do.
On horses, and they're just gonna start cutting up. It's not gonna happen because we are in the minority. There are not as many of us as there are of them. If they all had to vote, if you forced every man and woman in America to vote, there would be more of them than us by a lot. That's why they win the popular vote. That's why they win the House. That's why it is the way it is. And I hate to burst anybody's bubble, but there is simply no evidence that there is a silent majority. There is no evidence of this.
See, they know this.
There are too many non-white people in the country.
Too many non-white people. You see what I'm saying? Republicans hate democracy. They hate America fundamentally. You hear what he's saying. There are too many non-white people in the country. He's talking about he hates democracy. That we will never win because there are less of us. Yeah, there are less filthy, disgusting Nazis in the country. Yeah, and that is a good thing. But it's incredible to me. And now let's remind each other, or remind those who don't know, that this is Nick Fuentes is the person who hosted the event that perjury trader Green spoke at, one of the events, Then she was like, oh, gee, I didn't know.
For that to be the case. The country's 40% non-white, and like 80% of them are liberal, okay?
Yeah, that's for a reason, because human beings are fundamentally progressive. That's the nature of life. We want to evolve. It just happens. Human beings evolve. Ultimately, I hope we would bring out the better in each other. That's what you would hope out of a society, right? That is that we help each other. We encourage each other to bring out the best in each other. Not that it happens all the time, of course, but Republicans who don't believe in e pluribus unum, they find that threatening. Exactly, Ed the second. My gaydar goes off too. There is something wrong with him, and I believe that a lot of these right wingers and these self-loathing, these angry white men, it's because they're in the closet. They are repressed, and they hate themselves. Because it's the perfect storm in conservatism, as we know by scientific studies have confirmed that conservatives have larger amygdalas meaning they have larger fear centers in their brain, which makes them attracted to conservative ideology. It's not like I remember saying that to someone, and he got really mad, saying it's like, oh, that's like eugenics. I don't want to hear that. It's not. It's because they've done brain studies, and it happens that some people have larger amygdalas, some people have smaller amygdalas, and the people who have larger amygdalas they lean conservative. And it's not about, it's sort of like what came first, the chicken or the egg. It's I guess it's just the way it was, that they're just fear-based. They are more afraid. So that's why they are attracted to the conservative ideology, which is the whole promise of conservatism can be boiled down to this statement: everyone in their place. Right? If everyone gets in their place, their natural place, then everyone will be happy. We'll all be happy. That's the underlying conservative message. And they take it to, of course, extremes. White men at the top and everybody else. If you don't accept the natural hierarchy, you're going against, Jesus. You're going against God. But anyway, hold on. Let's keep going with this guy.
It's like 60-40. So you got 40% of 60% that are liberal and 80% of 40%. You do the math. I'm done with the math. I tried it earlier. It didn't work. You do the math on that. There's not enough of us, okay? Now, that's not a total black pill because this isn't a democracy, and we don't want it to be.
We don't want it to be. You say, because they'll say, it's not a democracy, it's a republic. He doesn't want it to be either a democracy or a republic. Hold on, we'll be right back. All right, we're back. Unapologetic Liberal Talk. This is Tara Devlin. We're listening to Nick Fuentes, a Nazi, and most likely a closet case. Yes, I'm getting an incel vibe too. He's sick. There's no other reason for anyone to be attracted to a Nazi ideology or to be a hateful little Nazi. Wouldn't that be, imagine you being this person's mother. There's nothing more disappointing than having your son grow up as a Nazi.
So it's not the end. There are other ways, and I can elaborate on that later if people want me to, but that's a whole other discussion, really. But the point is, when you look at these things like abortion, it's popular. People like abortion. Hate it, but it's true. And you can thank the Jewish media for that.
Can you believe
Abortion's
this?
Popular. Sodomy's
Marjorie
popular.
Taylor Greene's friend.
Being gay is popular. Being a feminist is popular.
See, they don't like any of these, of course, because he's sick. He's in the closet. He hates himself. He's like, being gay is popular. That's horrible to him because it's too tempting. He sees other people living authentic lives, and that drives him insane. That makes him hate them because they just flaunt their courage in his face. And courage is something he can never have. And that's what it is. The conservative, the larger amygdalas, it's because it takes courage to live authentic lives. And that's why they inflict their manias outward rather than get the help they need, rather than come out. Just come out. And isn't it sad? We live this short life, this blip of time. We're living in this, with each other. And then you live your whole life, and on your deathbed, you're like, great. I'm so happy I convinced everybody I wasn't gay. How sad. What a sad little world they live in. And that's, it's all over. their faces. It's reflected in their points of view and the dead ender ideologies that they cling to, like Nazism, or just say racism. Filthy racism. What a small world you live in. You know, it's like just filled with what?